back, guys, to another video. Let's get right into it. We're going to talk about the first three things that you need to do when building your hypnosis business. I'm here to set you guys up for success because there's really nobody talking about this. So I subscribe to the idea that if you are not content in your work, and you're not content, and if you are not content about if you're not content with the way you are going about building your hypnosis business, you are going to burn out very quickly. Which means you need to figure out how to make this business work around you. Now, here's what you need to do. There's such thing called a business model canvas. I'll go through it maybe in another video, but it contains all the different elements of a business and how to make it work. So, pricing, costs, target clients, blah, 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 blah. But here are the simple things you need to figure out real quick, okay? The first thing is, what exactly are you offering, right? Because a hypnosis business can come in different ways. It can offer, you can make money through hypnosis audios and recordings. You can make money through one-on-one hypnosis and hypnotherapy sessions, webinars, masterminds, so on and so forth. Is it in person? Is it online? You got to figure out what you are offering, right? So hypnosis and hypnotherapy is not enough. You got to be very specific. What are you offering? What is your value proposition? And when you're thinking about these things, also ask yourself, is there a way to make this part of the business different than everything else that's out there, right? So everybody's offering hypnosis audios. Everybody's offering one-on-one sessions. How can you make yours different somehow, right? And if not in the part that you're selling, how can you make the content different? How can you make the introduction different? How can you make the client experience different, right? Because all that is part of your value proposition. My value proposition in my business, I will tell you, with Deep Mind Programming Co., is not just the hypnosis offerings. It's the education around the brain. It's the education around mindset and beliefs and success and all that stuff. All that packaged in creates my value proposition and my business, right? So I don't, if you guys were to scroll through my content, even on YouTube, but more so on Instagram, it's like, and TikTok, it's like, it's not just, I'm going to hypnotize you to do da-da-da. No, it's a lot of it is about my real experience building a business, and also my real experience, working with a lot of successful people and observing what makes them unique. And so I'm educating folks. It's half of this is a hypnosis business. The other half is an education / success coaching business, right? Just putting some labels on it. But think about your value proposition. What are you offering? And it should be so simple. It should be so simple that it should be in one sentence. Alternatively, it should be so simple that it's written down on a sticky note. Every block of my business plan, including my value proposition, would fit on a sticky note. I still have them, by the way. So that's what you should start with. What are you offering? And that might change, right? It might change as, you're going to think that it's going to be one thing, and then you get into the actual market trying to pitch your offering, you realize nobody wants what you're offering, right? So it's going to be fluid, and you're going to have to adapt it, as did I, right? But don't overcomplicate it, right? And in that, you should also be mindful of making sure that you're offering something people actually want, something that there's an actual market for, right? Don't bring sand to a beach is what I'm trying to say, And the places you want to look at, especially in wellness, is an offering that is going to help people with their relationships, their finances, or their health. Relationships, finances, or their health. If what you are offering provides value in one of those three areas, clearly defined value in one of those three areas, I can guarantee you there's a market for it, big or small. Right? So what are you offering? And try and be niche down, like, this comes in the second part, but Try and be as refined as possible, specific as possible, right? Um, so that's the first part. The second thing. So you have what you're offering. You figured out what you're offering. Now the second part is to figure out who you're offering this to. Who are you offering this to? Like you should be able to have a clearly defined avatar of who you're offering this to. Who are you trying to serve, right? Ideally, I don't know if I've made a video about this already, but ideally, you want to be the easiest target client is your old self. That's the first thing. Because you speak their lingo, you know how they think, you know what they want, you know what their pain points are, right? And you should be able to like, clearly list out all the character traits of this target client, how they think, where they work, live, and play, how they act, everything, their pain points, what triggers them, what their deepest desires are. You know, you got to know them, right? How much money do they make? Everything. You got to know everything. What words do they use? Where do they shop? What clothes do they wear? What else do they search for on the internet? What do they search for in general on the internet, right? How do they dress? Why this is so important, because as you get closer and closer to creating content, which you will have to for your business, you need to show up in a way that resonates with them, literally down to the things that you wear, right? There's a reason why I dress the way I dress on Instagram, right? Like I wear, either I have a couple of cashmere sweaters that I rotate through. I wear this, I believe this is cotton, long sleeve, and and a black t-shirt. Like, it's very simple. It's it's subtle. It's professional. I don't show up in hoodies, right? Because that isn't my target. I'm very intentional. I wear a watch, not on this video, on this YouTube, but I wear a watch. Very calm, cool, professional sort of thing, right? Like, I'm not out here, you know, wearing designer brand names. No, because it's a professional thing, and I'm a professional. I consider myself a professional. But like, if you are targeting, I don't know, teenagers or people who are really hip, then you show up as such, right? And that's half the communication, is how you're showing up and presenting yourself. You know, um, so that's part of why knowing who you want to serve matters, right? And this also ties into how much money you're going to make. You know, because you need to be able to target people who can afford your offering, right? And this should be who you're serving. Should also be conjured up in parallel to how much money you want to make. I knew I wanted to make a certain amount of money, therefore I could not go for a certain target market, right? My offering is not the Walmart of hypnotherapy. Like, I'm not, you know, I I'm not for everyone, right? And I get these weird comments. Sometimes I'll see them in YouTube where it's like, "Oh, if you were truly passionate about changing lives, you would lower your prices." Come on. Like like you like come on. Like that, like, anyone who understands know how stupid that is. Like, I serve a niche of people, right? I don't do everything. I'm not Walmart, right? Like, and not to make this about me, but this is how you have to think about it. You have to remember, I said niche down. I don't deal with addictions. I don't deal with diseases. I don't deal with physical ailments. Nothing physical in that way. I don't deal with love and relationships unless it's self love. I deal with mental performance, and I'm very good at that. I'm very good at that. There's nobody in this world better than me at that, right? Um, and that is who I serve, and I know my target client and also my results. I do what most people do in 10 sessions in one. So you have to consider that, right? And also pricing projects a message as well, right? Um, to the folks that I deal with and talk to, my prices are well within their budget, and also, um, you know, $100 offering does not communicate the same level of value and quality as $1,000 offering. I'll just say that, right? And it goes hand in hand with the effectiveness as well. So there's also that. Like it's like Mercedes is priced as Mercedes for a reason. It's made with real leather. Excuse me. Right. Anyway, that's enough on that. But also this is a side note. Don't let people who make less money than you tell you how much you should charge, or tell you how to run your business. But that's another thing. Anyway, um, so yeah, who you are trying to serve, because that affects everything. And again, the easiest person to pick is your old self. In my case, the when I started, it was like a 25 to 35-year-old, um, several years of corporate experience, male, peak of his career professional, corporate professional, um, makes about, 80 to $100,000 a year, has access to a credit card and willing to invest in himself, already pays for courses, has a wellness practice already, interested in meditation, manifestation, other spiritual things, eats healthy, well spoken, uh, you know, that kind of thing. Like that is how detailed I would get with my avatar, right? Interested in investing. I think I said that already. Um, because all these things, like now, because now you have to adopt the mindset of that person and figure out, um, what the finished product of that person looks like, and be show up as that, right? You have to show up as that, right? In the way you speak, in the way you dress, in the way you act. Someone who's physically fit, like all these things was me back then, right? But also had a in terms of pain points, was very deeply unfulfilled. Was very deeply frustrated. Um, difficult time managing his emotions, difficult time communicating with people. Like all these things mattered. All of these things mattered. And that's how deep you got to get. Like you got to have a whole profile, because once you get into the market as well and you start speaking with these folks, free consultations and all that, you'll realize that you were missing some things, or that you misjudged some things, and so you refine it, and you get a better sense of the lingo that they use and what their pain points actually are. Maybe you're setting your target market too young or too old. This also helps you when you run ads, if you're going to. But that is why who you want to serve is so, so, so important. So what you're offering, who you are trying to serve. The third. So this relates to how you are going to get clients. More specifically, how you're going to let people know you exist. That's number 3. How are you going to let people know you exist? So what are you offering? Who are you trying to serve? And how are you going to let people know you exist? You only got a couple options. Organic content, paid ads, referrals. There was one other, I forget. But anyway, or word of mouth. I think that's referrals. Anyway, um, this one's important. What I would say is, what I would honestly say off the rip is, you got to put out organic content. Best places to be are TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and let's say Instagram Reels, right? But that means, like, my back is hurting. The people who do the best on there are usually the people who are, able to communicate properly, right? But you got to figure out what your strength is. Is your strength writing? Is your strength speaking? Or do you have a big personality? I don't really have a big personality, but I can talk, right? And you have to build your distribution around that. You have to build your content around your strength. You know what your strength is, right? People would have told you what your strength is. Either you're a great communicator, you're a great writer, whatever it is. So if you're a great communicator, a speaker rather, TikTok, just start speaking, right? If you're a great writer, write down your script. But point is, you need to be letting people know you exist, with an overwhelming amount of content. Here's the money equation. Write this down. Massive output times massive value equals massive growth, which equals massive money. Massive value times massive output equals massive growth, which equals massive money. One more time. Massive output times massive value equals massive growth, which, if you're smart and you have the right offering and you're targeting the right person, like we discussed, equals massive money. So once you have your offering outlined, and I'll go deeper into this in another video, or perhaps a course or something. Once you figure out what you're offering and have tried to make it as uniquely different as possible, and you figured out who you're offering it to, and have made this as clear as possible, and ideally they have the money to pay for what you're offering. Now you have to let people know you exist. That is your only job. Till this day, 80% of what I do is letting people know I exist, because there's still billions and 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 billions of people. That's a lot of people who do not know I exist. So if I'm putting out overwhelming amounts of content, and I have like 75,000 followers on Instagram and like 20,000 followers on TikTok and like 800 subscribers on YouTube as of Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, then you should be putting out an overwhelming amount of content too. All right, folks. Those are the first 3 things you need to do when building your hypnosis business. Take it from me. I make good money doing this, and you will too, if you follow my instructions and ignore the haters. When you see someone hating on you, chances are they make less money than you, because people who make more money than you aren't worried about you. And they're making too good use of their time, or they're just more insecure than you. Either way, you draw an insecurity out of them. Take it from me. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments and questions as well. Thumbs up, subscribe. You guys know the drill. I'm out. Peace.